Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for your SmackDown review for November 10th, heading into November 11th, which is my dad's birthday. I was broadcasting from my sister's place last weekend for her birthday, and now I'm back in the city because my dad's birthday is tomorrow and we're celebrating there. So this is just my Studio B, it would seem. But we thank you so much for tuning in to talk some SmackDown with us, guys. Get in your super chats and your humper chats at humperchats.com. Please leave a thumbs up on this video if you would be so kind. It really does help people find us in the algorithm and gets those views up, and we always appreciate it. And most importantly, why don't you go on over to FightfulSelect.com and subscribe? Tons of news coming out on FightfulSelect.com, as well as bonus shows. You had your Crown Jewel Sands of Blind post show. And darn it, if only there was somebody who could come in and talk to us about what might be coming up on Fightful Select. If only Sean Ross Sapp were here right now to discuss. Oh my gosh.
You mean the guy who writes all those things online in the blog and people hate it and they just say that he complains all the time? That guy? No.
I mean, that part's true, but hi, Sean.
Hi, guys. Get in your super chats. Get in your humper chats. I'm going to be here for a few minutes.
Yes.
We're going to have Wargames related news on Fightful Select, but today on Fightful Select, we had a bunch of backstage news about tonight's SmackDown. If you have never checked out a lot of the information that we dropped there, it is match orders, producers, a lot of segment lengths, even referee assignments. They're very, very in-depth. And then the day after, we give you a bunch of additional news as well. But some of the things coming out of SmackDown tonight, obviously, Wargames match being planned on the women's side as well. I'm going to have some more details on the stuff on the men's side on Fightful Select. Nick Aldis appearing on screen as a GM, but he is still doing individual producer assignments for those of you that are asking. And this LWO feud, this split has been planned for quite some time. I think that they've planted the seeds pretty well. Some interesting stats from this show. I had tweeted a couple weeks ago something like, oh, they're running back a match from 2007 with Carlito and Bobby Lashley. They have never wrestled each other in a singles match on TV before tonight. It was the first time ever. They had some like house show matches. They wrestled in Puerto Rico. Of course, they had, the Fastlane stuff. They had appeared in Royal Rumbles and stuff together. The first ever singles match these two had. And this was Kairi Sane's first SmackDown match in front of an audience since 2019, because a lot of her work was done actually during the pandemic. Also, I got our news from the internal live reports. Highest grossing non-PLE in WWE history of the Columbus market tonight. Obviously, some good stuff there. I think they mentioned on the air that Corey Graves had his child this week. So I had heard around then somebody was like, you're going to like the commentary update. And I thought he kicked ass. He was fantastic.
Sean,
fantastic.
CM Punk wants to commentary. Does that mean you think he's coming back?
I thought it was CM Punk, to be honest.
Yeah. CM Punk.
He's
Grayson
done commentary
Waller
before, so
listen, even if people in the company are told, hey, don't make CM Punk references, Grayson Waller does not care. He's going to troll. He's going to do what he wants. And he's going to be even more encouraged because of CM Punk. Like, I've had some dealings with Grayson Waller. I know exactly what he's going to do here. He's very smart.
You walked right into that fire, Sean Ross. Simp Ross Sapp, I forget what he called you, but you were the victim of a
Sean Ross Simp. There was actually one of my trolls that used to call me that, and he thought that Grayson Waller was shouting him out as if I hadn't done an interview with Grayson Waller a week and a half prior to that.
Yeah, as if he's not a heel on television and not just a dweeb on Twitter. But guys, get in your super chats and humper chats if there's anything you want to ask Sean about SmackDown tonight. We've got a ton of programming coming up. We've got Full Gear. We've got Survivor Series. Finishing the year strong in wrestling world. You had some New Japan Strong interviews going up beforehand, which was very cool to see. They have a pay-per-view going on right now, I believe. Will saying, poor Bayley. Just don't know that they're going to turn on her after Wargames. I am intrigued to see where this goes. I feel like Bayley coming out the face of it feels like the right move. Do you have any thoughts about the way this should shake out, assuming a damage control split is going to be imminent, Sean?
I think the obvious thing, and I know people are like, oh, you're grouping all the Japanese girls together. But I mean, sincerely, if you're ever backstage at a show, that's who hangs out together. It's very, very obvious. But also, man, Io, Kyrie, and Asuka looked so badass together. Like they look like such a threat together. And WWE has obviously shown interest in bringing in another person in Julia, who Hushes says, can Triple H just buy out Julia's contract? She can be the 5th member for Wargames. Kind of kidding. Any guesses who joins the face side? Well, I think I'm not reporting this, but I think a woman named Jade Cargill would be an awful nice ace in the hole there to pull out. It'd be a great situation. You could hide her deficiencies a little bit inside Wargames because the camera focus isn't always on one person. But I like Joel Pearl's idea of Mi Shin. First time I'll ever say that I like the idea of her being in a match. But
sure, no, of course, yeah.
But I mean, she's been actually teaming with Shotzi on some dark matches, as Fightful Select has reported. People say, is Dakota Kai cleared? I haven't heard that, so I don't know. It might be 4-on-4 in this situation.
That's what they're doing with the men's side, it looks like, too. So that would be some good consistency across the board.
No, it doesn't.
Unless
FightfulSelect.com this weekend.
There's a female CM Punk link somewhere ready to come back.
Joining the ladies. I love it.
Is there a chance we see someone from NXT join in Wargames? There's always a possibility. Like, there's always a chance. I don't think so. I don't think that they'll bring in anybody from NXT, but I haven't been told one way or another, Jasmine. But it's certainly always possible that they could do that. But I don't think that that's going to be the case. Anthony says, SRS, is there a reason why Kevin Owens is being suspended? Is it just him taking some time off, or is it something more? I think it's just to further this story. I don't know that for sure either, but I hadn't been told anything of that nature. He hasn't wrestled since being back on SmackDown, has he?
Yeah. No,
so
he hasn't.
No,
he hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah.
Besides the punch in the mouth.
No, he wrestled Austin Theory. He did like that 7-minute match with Austin.
Oh, right.
Theory.
He beat the heck out of him. That's right.
Yeah. But he's wrestled once over the last month. He hasn't worked live events that I've seen. I haven't heard of an injury, but I'm gonna dig into that a little bit. But Kevin Owens is the type of guy that even if he misses time, if he's willing to be there, they will have him there doing something.
Yeah.
They will. Like, he would be back there with his suit and tie, or not his suit, but just his tie.
His tie and cut off shirt.
Yeah. We got Hush is saying it won't happen, but Mercedes feels perfect here for a return to go against the Joshi All-Stars. Feels like we're going to get more heel turns Monday. I thought the introduction of the new damage control was really, really cool tonight, because you don't ever really expect to see two people join in the same night.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really great, right down to Bayley being like, "Nah, I don't hug anymore. I don't do that."
She's so great, man.
Asuka making the turn in the main event as well. I thought that it was all executed really, really well. I thought it was smart.
We also don't see women's stables build that large on American television all that often, too. So it's kind of cool to see a stable of 5 women forming here. And I don't really like main event DQ finishes. That's not my thing, but it does serve a greater purpose here. So it was cool to see that. And Alex Pulaski hit it on the head of what I was thinking, which was Charlotte and Asuka cannot be on the same side of things ever.
Yes.
Like, they need to be on separate sides. So the way that they had the mist come into play, which we'll talk about later, and the way everything went down, I thought was well orchestrated from that perspective for sure.
Before I hop off here, I just want to say you can tell this is sort of Triple H's WWE, because they had Io Sky go out there and cut a promo in English in front of the live crowd. The what chants did not affect her. By the way, if you're what chanting anything besides Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2023, you dumb. But if you're doing it to a Japanese woman who's doing her best to get through an English promo, well, then you're an asshole. Also, I love how much Bayley and Dakota are there for Io when she does a lot of that stuff. They're there with her for the promos. I've done media with them, and they've been right there. And you can tell how hard Io has worked at this. And I thought she did good. I thought she did really, really good at conveying that message. And I'm glad we are hearing people from Japan speaking in promos, whether it be in their native language or in English, as opposed to them just being mutes all the time.
Especially
they have voices.
Champions, Sean, especially when they are champions. Yeah. Really, really refreshing to have that. And to your point, too, there's not a problem with, like, in my eyes, of pairing all the Japanese women together, too, when it makes a kick-ass stable and they happen to be Japanese. Like, you have Io with such a diverse foundation. She has that killer moonsault. Asuka with the way she strikes and her suplexes is so vicious. And then Kairi, smaller, high flyer. Like, that's just a good 3 ladies to have together from any nationality.
I don't think you haven't seen this in a while, right? At all.
No, not really. So I'm looking forward to this. This will be good.
It was, it's a situation where even when I looked at the main event, we reported on FightfulSelect.com, best $5 in the business. And I was like, oh, the women are main eventing tonight. And it didn't even hit me after what we had reported last week that they were going to add more members to the stable. Yeah. It still didn't even hit me that, like, oh, well, they're going to add Asuka to this group. So I thought they did a really, really good job with that. And I rather enjoy
SmackDown. If you show up to work, you might think of those things. Like,
what is
Nakano was probably...
I thought Asuka was going to join the stable, but I show up to work on Friday, so it's just like a little different. Maybe I'm just a little fresher.
I watch. I just don't watch live. But tonight, because Kevin Owens was on the show doing commentary, I watched live. That's why I'm here right now.
When he said, I don't take pictures with the belt naked because I'm not a psychopath, I almost fell off my chair.
That is amazing.
He's hysterical. Amazing. Giving him the telestrator. I loved all of it. I loved KO. Any more final super chats or humper chats? Get them in. Sean, you already gave us a select tease for this weekend. Anything else you might want to give us hints as to what's dropping? I always push the Q&A when you're here because it's a great way to get your questions in for sure.
Yeah, we got Q&As every single week, and then every other week, Grapsody has been doing one. But we had somebody ask if Alex Palowski would do a Q&A. And I was like, you know what? I think we should do some more panel Q&As, like you guys and some other people on our staff. So we might make that a thing, like rotating every other week. But the week of Survivor Series, in addition to what will likely be a live Q&A, I'm going to do a CM Punk FAQ.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Is the frequently asked question just, is he showing up at Survivor Series and is he the devil?
Yes.
Those are just the 2 frequently asked questions.
It's going to be a CM Punk FAQ. That way, our wonderful subscribers, over 8,000 of you, over 10,000 with account sharing. Thank you, pirates. Can refer to that and say, no, this is what Sean actually reported. And you know what? I haven't decided what I'm going to do with my time on Survivor Series night, which, by the way, Kate, you will be appearing on the Survivor Series post show with Denise. Yes, but you know what? I might just be nice and ask people to donate to the NAMI link for my match instead of showing my ass, perhaps literally, on the timeline when that show is over. So.
Well, that is a great use of time and ring work, and I'm looking forward to seeing you lose to Shaza. So,
guys, thanks for having me on.
Later, brother.
Thanks for stopping by. We always love when you do. Sincerely, the best $5 in the biz. Sean is always working to get you all of the scoops, all of the clarity around what is true with CM Punk and what isn't true. Please listen to the actual reporting if you are subscribed, or even if you're not. Pay attention to reliable aggregates because they are what Sean has been told by WWE, not guarantees or promises of anyone showing up anywhere, but you'll always get the most reliable information that we can possibly provide reported well, reported accurately, and reported frequently because Sean works his butt off for this game. So let's dive into SmackDown. Much better than last week's episode, which was to be anticipated because last week was a double tape, right? And we were getting the tail end of that, but some fresh stuff on tonight, some stuff that wasn't so great. This was a lot of talking in this episode. I'm an in-ring gal, so that's my preference. But I feel like we have gotten such a refreshed women's division. I do have complaints with the men's division that we're going to get into, but from an overall perspective, much better than last week. Not too bad overall. I have my complaints, but I like where a lot of things seem to be going. We finally look like we're headed toward this LWO split that's been slow burning for a while now. Great stuff happening in that women's picture to close out the show. What were your thoughts kind of just from an overarching perspective on what we got tonight?
Yeah, there was when you look at it, you're right. There was a lot of different types of talking segments and recaps and video packages of whatnot. And I think like a 30-minute piece on John Cena alone that took the show by storm. But yeah, I can't wait to dive into it and talk a little bit more about Santos, which we know I've been craving.
Yes,
what just happened today for a while. I was licking my chops. I was jumping on my sofa. I was just like, this is what I wanted. I got it. Best way to end the year, for me at least.
The timing of this is very intriguing. The timing of this is definitely very intriguing. So let's dive in. Guys, get in those super chats and humper chats as we are talking all things SmackDown. Louise usually gives us our wonderful Rampage review. If you have New Japan Strong questions, I can try and field them as much as I can, but I'll be doing my own watch along on my own YouTube channel for that tomorrow on delay because obviously I'm here doing that now, but a lot of great wrestling happening this weekend and every weekend. And speaking of that, Van Twinblade says, can't give Kate money on her channel yet, so here's me asking her to add Glory Pro Ascend to her week in wrestling review. I will see what I can do. I'm trying very hard to keep those between like 40 minutes to 50 minutes if I can. I'm really trying to keep them digestible, but if ROH keeps trending this way, I'll replace it maybe with that because there's nothing to talk about with ROH.
It's just a sad thing with ROH, but
Wednesday just broke my heart into a million little pieces. But let's dive into some SmackDown. We get the show opening not with a video recap, but with a congratulations to Corey and Carmella, who we also echo that congratulations. They had a little baby, and so Corey wasn't there on commentary, but Carmella had been very open about her pregnancy journey when she miscarried and kind of sharing her experience this whole time on social media. And she was just always glowing throughout the process. She looked so happy after it sounds like they tried and couldn't. To have this little miracle come to life is so awesome. So our congratulations to her. And because Corey isn't there, we're getting Kevin Owens on commentary. And the way I grin from ear to ear when I hear we're going to have Kevin Owens on commentary, my goodness, he comes out looking so sharp in his extremely fancy tie and his cut-off sleeve shirt, dressed up for the occasion. I love Kevin Owens and everything he does. Invaluable on commentary. And we do swing into a recap after that, though, of the LWO, recapping what happens at Crown Jewel. And basically just recapping the loss of Rey Mysterio's title belt to Logan Paul and, of course, the brass knuck spot. So diving into that, we have the LWO coming out and Rey saying that he would have retained if it wasn't for the brass knuckles. Carlito comes down and brings up that Santos was the one who just kind of left those brass knuckles out there to be used, didn't he? And Santos comes out and they have a bit of a heated exchange here between Carlito and Santos as he heads out through the crowd and Rey follows. So this was interesting because I didn't know what was going to come later, if that was going to be on this episode or if this was going to be a continual part of the slow burn. But they have been doing this kind of formula of having one plot line weave in and out through the episode, right? Usually that was held down by the Bloodline for literally years. The LWO having it here, they do that oftentimes with the Judgment Day. So I was hopeful that we would get things expedited a little bit here, but what were your thoughts on this initial piece of it? Did you think we were going to get the full heel turn this quickly?
Yeah, I knew it. I knew from the minute he left those brass knucks on the ring apron that they were gonna put it in the fast train and just say, hey, let's go with this. I'll tell you why. It's very simple. You can't have a bunch of Hispanics together. It's boring. It's boring. People don't understand what they're saying half the time. They're talking fast. And by the way, of course I say that jokingly. I'm Puerto Rican, and it's just we've had multiple groups in the past in WWE, like the Mexicools coming out and friggin' in lawnmowers, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it as much. I think that the LWO can grow stronger because of this, because now you have a nemesis within the team that said, you know what, you want to blame me for this, and he's been feeling a certain way and he's letting these feelings out. Let it happen. You know what I'm saying? I think it's been a great buildup. I think you and I, as wrestling purists and wrestling fans, we kind of knew where this was going, and it was about to happen. We've been praising the fact that he is a great heel worker. So I think that this is great, and I think this can help the LWO get stronger, especially the young ones that are just standing in the background right now watching all of this happen between Santos and Ray.
Agreed. And I think it's refreshing. And for those of you who didn't watch NXT or are not familiar with Santos Escobar's heel work, he's an excellent heel. I was more surprised at how great of a babyface he was, because I was more familiar with his heel work. And so I think you're going to see some really, really great work from him in this angle. I'm looking forward to it. The timing is suspicious, not just because Survivor Series is around the corner, but this is ahead of meaningful programming season, right? This is ahead of Royal Rumble to that WrestleMania season. I don't know if this extends through it. I don't know if they're trying to clear through this to set up Bray and Dom and what I assume would be a hair versus mask match, and then maybe a career match at Mania. I just hope that when they make Santos a star heel, that they have something lined up for him to do. Feels like the Triple H era is much more cognizant about that, because, man, it feels like they have WrestleMania set and they're working backwards from that instead of the other way. And it's causing some biding some time moments right now, but I think we're going to be set up with really cool stuff from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. So
and
good stuff here.
They got a lot of pieces moving. Besides the fact that they got some big shows coming up, a lot of the stuff that they're doing is planning for any potential moves in television. Like, they have a lot of balls in the air right now that they're trying to juggle. And, I think that Triple H is doing a great job. I think the people that are around him, that he's put together, and I'm listening to some people that work there and people that talk on podcasts that are friends with him. There's like the fingers on the pulse, and not like what people used to say in the past, where McMahon's finger was, I don't know what goddamn pulse was on, but this is like truly happening right now with WWE and what they're doing with these shows.
Agreed. It feels like things are getting refreshed, and it also just feels like there's something where, as a fan, and I'm sure you can relate, and everybody in the chat can relate to this, there's a really big difference between I don't know where this is going, but I can't wait to watch, and I don't feel like they know where this is going. And I feel like we are now back into maybe I don't know where this is going stuff. My only complaints are that we do still have a lot of overbooking here, but it's because I think we've built up a lot more stable. So hopefully that side of the creative gets fresher, but this is, I think, full steam ahead. I'm ready for the breakup to happen. Very excited to see what they do with Santos Escobar moving forward. And I thought this was good. Will chiming in with a pretty astute observation and a fun one. That Ray and Sting got to be the only two baby faces that get turned on all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, maybe it's something in that WCW water that
I do have one last question before we move on, before we continue here. I don't want to take up any. Oh no. What happened to Kate? Kate just disappeared, everyone. Did she just X herself out? Ladies and gentlemen, let's hold a moment of silence right now for Kate and Kate's internet.
No, you know what it was? If you go to click off of a comment, it's very easy.
Oh, got it. Okay.
to exit the studio. Which
everyone's like, well, we're getting the Alex Cardozo show.
We were like, one more question. I was like, I'm out.
I was gonna put up trees like Grayson Waller and just start a show.
Start a talk show.
Really quickly though, was this the first episode of SmackDown without the Judgment Day in it in 2 years? Because there was
trying to think over the past couple weeks, but yeah, I think when they decided they're not doing Brand Supremacy Survivor Series, they probably wanted to get people on the sides of things, and they have authority figures in place, right? So if you are going to make things like we traded for this person feel like a big deal, or you're not allowed here, you can't enforce those as loosely as they've been enforced. So you're also not seeing Cody on SmackDown. I'm wondering too if on the business side of it, the rights renewal piece is settled. Fox said we're out of this game, so maybe they're not as concerned with things like that at the moment. But yeah, I think it's actually been really refreshing to have some organization in that. Dom Santos become the brothers abandoned by Ray. I don't want them on a tag team, but I did appreciate that Rhea Ripley tweeted, I'm starting to think maybe you're the problem, Ray. Some fun stuff there. More love for KO on commentary. Will saying that KO was killing me tonight, being the next John Madden. The Telestrator stuff was hysterical to me. I absolutely loved it. It's really Brian saying happy Veterans Day, Alex. Yes, happy Veterans Day.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for your service.
No, thank you for thanking me.
All love here for you. Pretty solid in-ring overall. Can KO replace Booker on commentary? I would take a shoe over Booker T on commentary at this point. If Wargames gets to 5-on-5, maybe the spooky Scottish witches are on the face side.
I miss them.
I miss them too. Pulaski has a fun idea that I think might actually be where things are going. This Nikki Cross stuff on Raw where she's just staring and staring and staring. He thinks that she's being controlled by the spooky Scottish witches.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
I love that idea. You have this Scottish triumvirate of women who are all very different. Yeah. I think that could be a really, really, really fun angle. So I don't know if they'll make it into a Scottish Survivor Series angles. Yeah, but like a Scottish women's stable.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Also kind of pitch the idea of, because you could put just anybody with Chelsea Green. She's such a comedy goldmine, of having Piper be the one to join the other side. But like having Nikki do that, I think could be a really, really, really fun move there too.
Yeah.
Let's move on a little deeper into this. We get Bobby Lashley and Carlito with finally the Santos turn that happens here. This was some good stuff. Let's run it all down because there was a lot that happened. You have Bobby Lashley out there with the Street Profits. And at the end of this, you have Montez Ford pulling Carlito's leg, literally, not like as I'm pulling your leg. No, literally pulling the leg. And this kicks off a brawl between the Hurt Profits and the LWO extra members kind of there that are kicking around, but they're mostly to equalize things, right? And Bobby hits a flatliner. Santos Escobar is at ringside, and with all the confusion that happens here, Bobby Lashley hits a spear. Where's my suit?
I knew it was coming.
I had to ask it now because there's a lot that happens in this segment. And I didn't want to distract from it, but I haven't.
Well, I mean, he wasn't even wearing a suit, so that just means that he's probably getting it ready for you.
Yeah, it means there's more in the back available, and we have about the same stature. So I don't understand what
comes first, Logan Paul liking one of your tweets, or Bobby Lashley's suit.
I'm going to say a Bobby Lashley suit would be more likely.
By the way, RIP, and I hope they bring it back soon, the U.S. Championship belt. I know they retired it at Crown Jewel. Kind of like what they did. Pretty much the same exact thing Nikki Cross did with the 24/7. They kind of did with the U.S. Championship.
I wish, buddy, and I'm fear that it's going to feel that way because
I know a lot of people love this guy and they're big fans of his athleticism, which is fine with me, but I don't have to like it.
No, you don't, and I don't like what it does to the programming, and that I don't think Logan Paul is going to be around a lot. And we also have an extremely absent world champion. So we're just running into that. But post-match is really where the story is. Felt like this match was like 10 minutes long, and it felt a little long for these two because Carlito is a little older and hasn't been doing this as much lately. But post-match, we get the Hurt Profits attacking Carlito, and we get Escobar watching from the apron as Ray comes down with a chair to chase off the Hurt Profits and Bobby Lashley. Then you have Ray and Escobar getting into it on the mic a little bit, and Ray says he wants them to be family, but Escobar saying that he can't accept that Carlito, and thinks that Ray is picking Carlito over him, which I liked, because this wasn't about the title loss. This was about what's going on within the family dynamic, right?
Sure.
So finally it happens. We have Escobar attacking Ray, kicking Carlito out of the ring, and then he and Ray are trading words before Ray absolutely slaps the crap out of Escobar, which was really, really, really fun. Ray goes to apologize on the apron, but Escobar shoving him into the ring post and trapping Ray's leg in the ring steps, between the ring steps and the post, and Escobar hits a drop kick into the steps, which looks extremely painful. Thought that was a really well done spot. Yeah. Escobar says Ray was his hero. This was supposed to be the two of them, and Ray made him do this. I feel like it's not as well justified as it could be, but I also don't think we need all of this to come out now. Like, I think we can tell this story over the course of a few weeks, but it was a pretty violent turn for someone who was just like, I think you're picking Carlito over me. Feels like you need more justification for that turn. Yeah. But I don't think we need all of it right at once. And Zelina wants to know what Santos did. Santos continuing to claim that it was about him and Ray, and Escobar kind of retreating up the ramp as the LWO checks in on Ray, and we go to break. We get a quick interview with Kathy Kelly backstage, and he just keeps emphasizing that it's Rey Mysterio's fault. So I think we're going to hear more. Mayor Pete saying Carlito, more like Carlate. Oh, am I right? Good.
Yeah, they need to fix that a little bit. Like, it's Ray's fault, but what led you to snap? What was the complete reason as to what are we blaming Ray for? Like, Carlitos just came to the scene, and you had an argument with him in the ring that he goes, "Oh, it was his fault because he left the brass knucks there." Right? We could have still turned you heel in this show, but there's some context in there missing, because you and I can get into a fight. That doesn't mean I'm going to turn my back on my entire family in the span of 15 minutes.
Especially that violently. So
it got
the fact he lost the title will come into play here. There'll probably be I was supposed to be next after you, and then you lost it like a big loser, Ray. What the heck is where I'm guessing this is going. But yeah, hopefully we get a little bit deeper justification than this. Some more love from you guys. Thank you so much for chiming in. Orion Ben saying, prep mirror Alex for the Legato LWO war. I'm excited. I'm excited to see who Santos convinces to come with him. I'm wondering if there will be call-ups, if Dragon Lee gets involved in this, all sorts of stuff.
Giant Spanish stables. I mean, I'm with it. I mean, we've been mentioning who's going to take over for Ray. I don't think it's going to be his son. His son is just not it for me. I don't think he has... I don't know if he wants to carry that weight on his shoulders. I think he's having fun right now being part of the Judgment Day and not being exposed on his own in a ring. So sure. I think if you give the ball to somebody like Santos Escobar, who could most definitely say, yeah, give me the reins, I will take over. And then you have a retiring or whatever happens with Ray in the future. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Santos to kind of just like become this big freaking Latino superstar. I mean, God, like, I'm speechless with the thoughts of what the future could be like for him.
There are talent in NXT that you could easily pull up there too, as well. Angel Garza, Humberto, like there's a lot of places that you can go with this. So I'm looking forward to it, and I am excited to see. I just hope the justification becomes a little bit stronger. But we got Meat Normus, who cooked a vegetarian dish yesterday.
Nice.
Saying happy Veterans Day, Alex. Happy birthday, Marines. Kate, sup, partner? I'll tell you what, that guy out of Kingston fighting Kojima today over who loves bread more, probably. May Gabagool be with you all and with your spirit. Thank you so much for your continued support.
By the way, Damian Priest, if the Judgment Day break up, you got someone like Damian Priest that you could put with Santos. Like, there's so much happening, man. Finn Balor's Puerto Rican too now, so might as well.
You know what? Sure he is. Him and his Irish accent coming out of Puerto Rican. I love it. All right, Ben also saying, okay, so no telestrator for Kate. Happy Vets Day, Alex.
Thank you.
I would take a telestrator any day, but more importantly, I would take a suit. So we move.
You'd probably rock it.
I would probably rock it, did you say?
Oh, you will rock it. Will you wear shoulder pads, the ones with the shoulder pads, like it's 1998 or?
Of course I would.
God, that's the best.
Of course I would. With like a crisp white button down all day.
I'm taking you to the prom in that.
There we go. What's up? We're going to the prom. You guys are sending in so much love to us. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate you guys.
We move on to the State of the Union of Damage Control or Damage Control for Simpsons fans out there. Bayley has the mic and she makes some really good points, and I was so glad she started her promo this way. She says that she had a plan and a vision for her and Io and Dakota since the beginning of Damage Control, and that all of it came true. They were tag champions, Money in the Bank, and women's champion. Damage Control was booked so weird, and they lost so much, especially Bayley, that her just giving this refresh of the success that they had, I thought was really, 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 really important and well done.
Yeah.
And also making the point that Io's success is predicated on Bayley, right? Really well done, because there's this dissension and she's trying to put it to bed. She says that Crown Jewel was supposed to be Damage Control's proudest moment, but she is left very confused by the return of Miss Kairi Sane and asks Io to come out and to speak with her. And that brings out Io along with Dakota and Kairi. And Bayley wants to know what Kairi is doing there. And Io tells her that she's had a plan too. This is the Io era and she retained. So she kind of wants to know what the problem is. And Bayley just doesn't trust, like, kind of a guarded trust, I would say, right? It's not that she's like anti-Kairi for any reason. She just points out that Kairi has been around since 2020. Why does she get to just waltz into their group, which is fair? And Dakota reassuring her, I thought was an interesting wrinkle here, because she's kind of the X factor. And she says that Kairi is here to help. And Bayley is hesitant in this, right? She's not there to hug anybody because she's not a hugger anymore. Everybody's going in for this group hug. I loved the work that got done here. And while I don't like main event, especially schmaz finishes, this at least the ends justify these means that we get laid out here. So a lot of weaving in and out in this episode. All that LWO drama. We have this here. But we have Bianca coming down and she says that she doesn't forgive Damage Control, to which I say, we know you've been feuding with them since July of 2022. We know you don't like them. But you also have Asuka and Charlotte, and they set up the main event for the evening. Now, initially, I had the same gut reaction that Alex Pulowski did of, Asuka is a heel and should not be on the face side of things, and Asuka and Charlotte should never be on the same side of things, ever, ever. One of the most storied rivalries that they've had since NXT. So we get this main event set up. Now, I'm going to throw it to you to talk about what your thoughts were at this part of the night for this storyline before we got to the main event. What were you thinking about the dissension and Kairi's role and what got laid out here?
I honestly thought that they were just going to turn on her right there and then. I was looking when, you know, when they all come into the ring, I'm like, oh man, they're really going for this. They're going to go for this, you know, all woman stable. I don't want to make it sound like all woman Japanese stable, right? Or, you know, whatever. But
they are all Japanese, but they all have a history together. They all have an NXT history together. Yeah. And
I didn't want to make it seem like that, because I know anyone would clip that and be like, well, look at this, what this asshole's saying.
Well, no, and we ran into that before, right? Like with the Street Profits, there was this like, hey, this person's black, let's add them. Like it's not just that.
Put all the
Sometimes this also
Hispanics
makes
together.
sense. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so at that point in time, I'm going to myself, oh man, they're doing it. They're really going for it. The fact that they're letting them be them, and you know, outside of Bayley, like letting, you know, this group just flourish and really come to their own is really cool. And that's why at that point I'm going, oh shoot. I thought she was gonna turn around and look at her and be like, you are out and I am in. You know, kind of like that like the old school Batista and Triple H when he had freaking Randy Orton on his shoulders.
Sure.
And he has his thumbs up and then he goes, bitch. That's what I was looking for. I was like, oh god, but you know what? This is cool because if they're doing a slow burn on this, I'm okay with it because the show kind of had that fast pace with the LWO. So I think with this, it kind of streamlined it, made it better.
I agree. I feel like back-to-back breakups would have been too much for this one program, and the fact that it's leading to a women's Wargames match makes me a very, very.
As soon as Bianca came out, I was like, oh, they're going. This is Wargames because she's like, I know someone who's gonna be pissed, just like I am with you, you know. And I was like, here they come, here they come.
You were right. Some more love coming in from you guys. Thank you so much for all of the support tonight. We appreciate it. Ryan Ciccini, I hope I said that right, saying, I'd be shocked if the end goal isn't a long feud with Santos and Dragon Lee. It does feel like Dragon Lee got pulled up to the main roster at a time that would be establishing Dragon Lee as a great foil for Santos Escobar. Down the road, I think that could be a really good play. We're going to get into what I thought was a really fun match between him and Cedric Alexander very shortly. But what are your thoughts on Santos and Dragon Lee kind of being... I kind of like that because Dragon Lee has kind of a traditional luchador look and he's very easy to root for. And Santos has that kind of like suave Guerrero-esque coolness about him on the heel side. I think it could be cool.
Yeah, I think if you're looking to kind of start building Dragon Lee, you know, that would be a good way to go. I would have to, this would have to be really get built. Because for him to just kind of insert himself into this whole mess, you know, I think that we're going to see a lot more of Carlitos versus Santos than we will of Dragon Lee doing anything with the LWO at first. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of the veteran kind of like putting Santos through the paces and seeing where he comes out, you know, because it's wrestling. That's what they do. You know, they always put someone hot like that, like a Santos, who is he's been in wrestling for a while as well. But you could talk about Carlitos, who's been here for over 20 years doing wrestling himself. So I think that's what we're going to see. I don't know where you bring in Dragon Lee. I don't even know where he fits. Am I wrong for saying that? Like, I like your idea, but
how do we get there? And
how do we get there? Yeah.
I think this is probably down the road a little bit. Like, I think you probably have the LWO breakup and then kind of go to something like that. Yeah,
like he kind of steps up to him and be like, bro, like, what are you thinking? Like, this is a hero of ours. Like, you know, and then, whoosh, you know, like slaps him in the face like Ray did to Santos. That was a straight up like Latin slap to the mouth. Like when you speak back to your mom. Yeah,
it looked vicious.
Yeah,
it looked vicious. Look, now Carlito gives me a very easy segue into a specific sponsor. Okay, because
let's go.
He had a very racy T-shirt once. Okay, with an apple on it. But if
what did it say, Kate?
That segue, I'm gonna get us demonetized. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna assume that everybody in the chat is really smart and that I don't have to make a very dirty joke to get to the segue. Okay, but it is for Bluechew. And if your tree isn't standing tall enough for the apples to fall, there's also, now I'm like, there's Danielson Treacy been joking here. I can't even, okay? But you know what I'm saying. You know what T-shirt I'm referencing. But I'm just going to play the ad so that we can keep our monetization and everybody can smile and laugh to themselves.
You know, spring has sprung, but maybe your penis hasn't. Bluechew and the code Fightful is going to fix that. Whether you're in the mood or you're trying to get in the mood, Bluechew and the code Fightful has you covered. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. You know they work. But it comes to you discreetly. You're not going to have everybody at the pharmacy or the doctor's office be like, what's he getting? Because somebody else is getting a little something once you use Bluechew and the code Fightful. You meet with an online physician, and if approved, it arrives straight to your door discreetly. And how about this? How about free? You just pay $5 shipping. That's it. Pay $5 shipping. And you're going to have that performance, that main event performance, that confidence. It's not just for people with a problem performing sexually. It's for that confidence, that main event. Bluechew and the code Fightful.
Listen, if you want your tree to stand as tall as the Rockefeller tree.
That's right. You want to ship it into New York and you want it to stay tall in front of everyone to see. Bluechew.com, code Fightful. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around. We're going to get our Rampage rundown that Luis always gives us in a couple of minutes. I know a lot of you joined after Rampage to catch up on what we're talking about here. I want to say it was a live Rampage. I might be lying, but either way.
Is that tonight or next week?
That might be next week. I could have lied. I don't know. Probably closer to the
liar.
Pay-per-view.
How dare you?
That would make more sense if it was closer to the pay-per-view. But the point is, we're going to bring you the Rampage coverage. If any of you are watching New Japan Strong, make me jealous with what you're watching. I think
Pro wrestling journalist lies.
I'm not a journalist. Darn it. That's Sean's bag. I just get paid to talk about wrestling. I got the best job ever. Kidding me? I don't want scoop.
You're the voice of Friday night post shows. That's what you are. Ladies and gentlemen, pay your respects. Send us $5. No.
Pay your respects. Send us $5. It's true.
So wrong.
Acknowledge me. Okay. Wrestling podcasting is very important. Dragon Lee defeats Cedric Alexander, what I thought was a very fun match. And as a Japanese wrestling fan, there's a lot of things I appreciated in this. I am impressed by how hard-hitting it was, while also feeling very like Lucha Spot Festy in really good ways. Our wonderful moderator, Luis, thinks that Dragon Lee beats Paul at Survivor Series or Mania, which is an interesting way to get back to maybe the Santos piece of this. I think that's probably prime for LA Knight, but I wouldn't be shocked if they continue down this road. But I love the finish here connecting. Look, the running Shiranyu is awesome. We got like a Osprey lariat countered into a Liger bomb from Dragon Lee in this, which was so great. I loved the spot where you had Cedric Alexander kind of charging, but running right into a super kick. And then Lee charging back Cedric and catching him with that Michinoku driver for a near fall. I thought their chemistry in this was stronger than last week. And I'm just so impressed by how many like hard-hitting spots we got in something that was still very fast-paced. And I don't want to say spot festy because that kind of carries a certain connotation, but it was a spot fest. There were a lot of spots in this for sure that stuck out in your mind and were memorable. I thought this match was great. Any thoughts on this?
I felt at first that I was a little bit, how do I say, worried for poor friggin' Cedric. Like, like, damn, boy, like, freak, what are we doing with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I really like him, but they're using him for a reason.
Yeah,
he's incredibly
back on screen.
He's incredibly good on television. He's an incredible talent in the ring. And you're right. Anytime the old school veterans always say it. Anytime you're on TV, win or lose, it's a freaking good thing.
You got paid.
Cedric is doing his thing, and whatever goes his, whether the match goes his way or not, I thought Dragon Lee was he's still incredible. Like you mentioned, he does a lot of
26.
Nothing like the spotty fest stuff. Like, I don't want to say that, but very AEW-ish lucha style, I want to say, because AEW lets them go through.
Ish is CMLL-ish and AAA-ish, right? Like realistically. So that's cool.
I enjoy it because you know what? We weren't seeing that in this product at all.
No.
We were not allowed to watch stuff like that in this product. It was one certain way. This is what you're going to learn in this. So I thought it was cool that they just let him go.
They did. It definitely feels like the chains are off when it comes to Dragon Lee. Like he can do what he wants in there, and he's earned it. He is great. It's crazy to think that he's only 26-year-old and this good. We got Kylie saying, okay, here's my respects. Also, I hope you two are having an amazing and great night.
Thank you.
And you look amazing as always and beautiful as always. Well, thanks you,
Boo.
Kylie.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I'll quit the chef and talk about me.
Some watch it, people. Watch it. Some love from Don saying, love sour grapes. Thank you. I love sour grapes too. I love getting to work
who
with
doesn't
Alex
love sour
Pulaski.
grapes?
He is such a great booking mind and a great wrestling mind in general. It's very fun to continually have co-hosts that you learn from in the process of being their co-host. My only complaint about Alex Pulaski, and he might be off of his select show at this point to know, he is a fan of the chewy yellow runts, and I just can't respect someone who has that opinion. That's horrific. Thank you. Chewy yellow runts. What are we doing? Banana flavored? Get out of town.
Oh, that's delicious.
Ridiculous.
No? You remember banana flavored Quick?
Oh my God. What is wrong with you people?
That was
you
good
Alexes.
We love our bananas. We're both Hispanic too. Leave us alone.
Where were you for my segue with the banana jokes? But hey, we get a Logan Paul video package. We move on to LA Knight and Crit. No, we get a Logan Paul victory video package here. I just was howling at Kevin Owens when he said, I referenced it earlier in the show, but it bears repeating, when he was like, I would not, if I had the US title, I would not take naked pictures with it because I'm not a psychopath. Was just one of like the funniest deliveries.
He was really good on commentary tonight.
He was excellent on commentary.
Yeah. He's like, did he throw that at you?
yeah. Him being like, you can't throw empty water bottles over this way.
Yeah.
He truly is excellent on commentary always. I think he has that fancy tie and he just knows what to do, so
he looks like he might be, that's a good fit for him when he's ready to say, God, my knees hurt.
Yeah, he definitely could. If he wants it, there's definitely a commentary career waiting for him on the other side. But we move on to LA Knight versus Grayson Waller, and I thought the promo and the match were both good. Let's talk the promo first. LA Knight doing what LA Knight does best. He talks about how he was disappointed about what happened at Crown Jewel, but he brought Roman within an inch of losing his title and dropped him on his head and had him beaten until Janetti Uso showed up, which made me laugh real hard.
I missed that.
It was so good. So good.
Wow.
Knight isn't going to the back of the line. He's not done with the bloodline by a long shot, he says. Not until he owns that WWE title. Yeah. We then have Grayson Waller interrupting and claiming that Knight is embarrassing himself, kind of reiterating a few times, does he really think that he belongs in the ring with Roman Reigns? And Knight just getting jab after jab in, right? He calls him a kangaroo jackass. He says the Waller effect is an STD. He says a Saudi movie star drops Waller at Crown Jewel. He's asking if Knight belongs in the ring with Roman. Please. And you get Knight tossing Waller out of the ring and dousing him with water, finishing his catchphrase, right? Good stuff there. And then the match is pretty solid too. This ends with Knight countering the rolling stunner, which I like, into a back suplex because the rolling stunner is a dumb finisher. You have to leave the ring to finish. You're with your finisher. That should get countered every single time he tries to do it because he has to leave the ring.
Go outside. Yeah, I mean,
kind of silly. You've got a really long time with him. I have the same complaint about Jay Lethal with the lethal injection. I'm like, a back handspring slows you down and it takes longer. Makes no sense. But it looks cool, so people like it, and that's fine. Knight is starting to kind of settle in and roll with the punches, and we get a clothesline here. Nice looking Russian leg sweep from LA Knight into a DDT. Only a 2 count on that, but Waller with some knees, but he runs into a power slam. And Knight hits the elbow and the BFT for the win. Kevin Owens great on commentary on this. Of course, definitely feels like we are headed more toward a Grayson Waller and Kevin Owens fight, which I'm excited about. But to your point, he's like, did they just throw water in this direction? Like, he's so good.
Excuse me while I go get, what did he say? Excuse me as I go get suspended.
He goes, yeah. He was like, I gotta go get suspended. Sorry. But I really liked this. I liked him chasing them out. And he just very casually referencing on a consistent basis of just like, oh yeah, like last week when I beat the bricks off of Austin Theory. He has such a great way about this. Taylor Cannon chiming in with some more Veterans Day love for you as we all send it your way, saying Happy Veterans Day to you, Alex. I hope
Appreciate
you are
you
well.
guys so
Thank
much.
you for your service.
Thank you.
Kate, I really enjoy your Week in Wrestling podcast every week. What? My This Week in Wrestling podcast, which you can check out on @Miss Kate Fabe on my YouTube channel every week. And you can go over there and subscribe like 618 other people. Thank you. No, sincerely, thank you for watching. You're always so generous with your support. And it's been fun to do. I never intended on having my own YouTube channel, but it's kind of nice to have
y'all gas her up. She's trying to be coy about it. No, she's like, I'm hot ship. Give it to me. When you get over there, drop exactly $5.
That's yeah. I don't even have a subscription service.
I know,
yeah. Give me money. That's all.
She has her Venmo and her Cash App and everything.
That's
on there.
right.
Just drop it.
Just drop it in there. But no, I appreciate it. It's fun.
Don't forget friends and family, so there's no charge.
Well, hold on. I'm trying to steal everybody's money. My friends, my families. That's all.
No. If you put friends and family, you don't get a surcharge.
Oh,
if you just send it, they take like 5%.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what Latinos do, baby. Let's go. We cheat, we steal.
That's what's up. Shauna Lewinsky saying Waller shall now be known as Sparkles from this day forth. Also, happy Veterans Day. Alex.
Thank you, Shauna. Appreciate you.
Yeah, Grayson Waller with some very interesting ring gear choice.
Yeah, today. What was that all about? That was like super sparkly.
It was extra sparkly, but I'll take it. Murray 504, thanks for chiming in. I think you might be a bit of a newer super chatter, so thank you for the support. Saying 40 years watching WWE and still going, God, I'm old, buddy. That's all of us. We are watching these people who we grew up with.
You know, this is just what we've been watching. Remember, the E's been around for over 75 years. So
it's true. It's true. Drinking at most super chat in honor of the Marine's birthday and my pup I lost a couple days ago. Oh, there's nothing.
That's a heartbreak right there.
Ugh, the worst. I'm so sorry. I went through that last year and it was wildly painful. Just like
I've been thinking about getting another dog, and then I think about the pain I felt
brutal
before, and I'm like, nope.
Sending love right back to you. Thank you for being so
Mo, love
kind and supportive of all of us.
Mo's always supportive on the Twitter machine of everything we do here.
We'll say we didn't get to see good stuff like Dragon Lee wrestling styles because of 17-year-old out of touch creep.
I like out of tuck. Leave it. I
like out of tuck, to be honest, too. That's a fun one.
I think you should make a shirt saying that I'm out of tuck.
Out of tuck. Again, a Bluechew read already in the can.
For $5. I don't know what it is with me with $5 today, but get your out of tuck shirt.
We have the best $5 in the biz.
We do.
It is nice to see under the Triple H era, certainly refresh things like Japanese champions giving promos on television, like Dragon Lee getting to wrestle longer match times. Like, it's good. It's a healthy thing for the product when we get more diversity within it, for sure. You guys pouring in some love today. Let's talk a little bit of Rampage with a quick rundown. We had Ricky Starks with Big Bill defeating Preston Vance with Jose the Assistant. A Jericho promo. Backstage promoting his DDT match with Takeshita. That is very nice to see that they're doing that on AEW television. That makes me happy. Don Callis and Prince Nana announced Brian Cage will join the Don Callis family for the Street Fight 8-man tag on Dynamite. Interesting. Team TNA interview interrupted by Ortiz, who called them out for talking S last week. Ortiz attacking Team TNA, but was laid out by Saddam Singh. Weird place to go with with Ortiz after what happened. I don't like that at all. Red Velvet defeating Ruby Soho with Saraya in her corner. That's very interesting. I'm glad Red Velvet picking up a win in her return after her loss on Wednesday. That's encouraging to see. I think we're splitting up the Outcasts further as well. The Kingdom defeating Los Suavecitos. I hope I said that right. I'm taking Japanese, not Spanish. I'm sorry. Daniel Garcia calling out Andrade for Collision. So different. So very different. Daniel Garcia calling out Andrade for Collision, which rules, and Ruby and Ange flirting again. Love that for them. FTR defeating Vikingo and Commander in what was, I'm told, a certified humper of a match from our own Luis. And House of Black appearing in the end with a slow clap to end the show. One LT photo saying, Happy Veterans Day. Alex, thank you for your service. Andrade versus Garcia, LFG, and Willow versus Julia. Yes, I am very excited about literally all of those things. So thank you, one Lieutenant Photo, and thank you for your silly service, as we always pretend that the LT in your name stands for Lieutenant. Back into SmackDown world. You guys are pouring in the support today. Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
Cyclops is better than Wolverine, saying Ray never should have trusted a guy that kidnapped and brainwashed guys to join his faction in Santos. That is fair. Ray probably should have done his research on that. But I don't even think we got your thoughts on this LA Knight and Grayson Waller promo and match. Why don't you tell them to us as we get through the rest of this review?
I think it was all right. Honestly, I'm trying to I'm gonna figure out to see in my own perspective. I know that you guys see it otherwise, but I want to see if this match at Crown Jewel hurt LA Knight in any way. And honestly, watching him out there, I know the crowd's always hyped because you're in the crowd, so you want to be part of the show and you want to say, all the good things that are being said along with your favorite wrestler. We've been doing that since the 90s with The Rock and Stone Cold and everybody. So outside of that, I want to see where LA Knight is going now. I want to see, did this hurt his momentum? Where does he veer off? I'm a little lost now, since we all knew he was going to lose to Roman. It wasn't like he was going to take the belt. So where is he going? What's his direction now? Even this match with Grayson Waller, when I saw the flashed up on the screen, I was like, why is this even happening? Like, I know Grayson likes to talk a lot of trash and whatnot, but other than that, it's like the man was just in some really hot segments. LA Knight was like insane segments.
I think he's going to beat Logan Paul. And that's why. So the fact that he won today, I was like, this is the immediate difference between Vince and Triple H. Is because him getting a win over a mid-carder who's kind of in a tag team is a good sign of like, we are keeping him feeling important until we're heating him up for the next program. That's just the way that I see it. But I agree with you. It's tough because he was like already on the track to the world title. My guess is he's going to be feuding with Jimmy Uso in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Anthony Velasquez, SRS, is there a reason why Kevin Owens is being suspended, or is he just taking some time off? I think we got that one before.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure his question got answered because I would hate for that to not have been. We got a Solo versus John Cena video package and a Jimmy promo here. Not a ton to write home about. This was a very dramatic and long John Cena video package, as has this run been. The strike has ended, so we'll see how much John Cena is still around. But I don't think he's actually retired, guys. I think he'll have a proper send-off when the time is right. But any thoughts on this? I didn't think there was a ton to note here.
He just got surgery. He was thanking the doctors over at
yes,
Dr. Andrus's office. So he's that and we have a couple, now that SAG-AFTRA's complete, everyone's back to work. God only knows when we'll see him again. Proper send-off, I don't know. Hall of Fame, yeah, obviously. I think this might be the year where they put him in. They're
CM Punk coming back for a Cena retirement.
Maybe they're putting him as the greatest of all time and all this. They're really pumping this like farewell. And I do think that
he's got to break Ric Flair's record before he retires, right? Especially now that Flair's in AEW.
I don't know. Do they give it to do it to him, or do they do it with his daughter?
Yes. I think both.
Because I think the women matter just as much as the guys, to be completely honest.
I appreciate that you think that way. I don't think they do. Because it's for the same title, technically,
I don't think they do.
I don't. Well, And because it would be the same title, right?
Well, I want them to bring back the big gold belt then and defend it 17, 18 more times.
I would love if they brought back the big gold belt. I'll bring back the Winged Eagle belt, damn it.
Oh, man, that's sexy too. Stop talking dirty.
That's the... We head to our main event, and let me tell you, I really like it when we get a bunch of super chats about women's wrestling. I really like it when we get women's wrestling in the main event, and we got both today. That makes me very happy. So let's read through some of your chats, and then we will talk about the match a little bit. Corey David mentioning Mako Satomura or Blair Davenport with the Stardom connection, talking about kind of this Joshi stable. I would encourage you guys to check out Alex, Queen of the Ring, for anything Joshi-wise. I always default to her because I just don't know that world as well. But I do know about Mako Satomura, of course, and I do know Blair Davenport's connections through there, her tag team with Jamie Hayter, all that good stuff. Plenty of possibilities to go. Sean mentioning Julia before. I know Julia's contract isn't up until March. She's going to have some really fun matches until then. But those would be great pulls that they have now because Mako Satomura is still under contract, I believe, and Blair Davenport is doing great things in NXT. So you could pull that right up if you wanted to. That's a really good point, Corey. Hush, which is a great handle. I wish more people would hush out there. Saying it won't happen, but Mercedes feels like a perfect hit here. We talked about this a little bit too. I'm very intrigued what happens with Mercedes now because Hunter being back means women's wrestling looks a lot different than it did under Vince. But this would be the perfect place for her to re-enter. I don't think it's going to happen, though, unfortunately. Will saying, I think it's different. Asuka, Io, and Kairi all have history way back in Japan and NXT. I think we hit that too. Just saying that it's not just they're together because they're Japanese, as WWE is prone to do. I think there's some authentic connections there, and it also is diverse stylistically as a stable, which is really, really good to see. Jay Miller saying, solid storytelling tonight with the LWO and women's Wargames build. Who joins the face team with Bianca, Charlotte, and Shotzi? Michin, I think, is a good shout.
The Man, of course.
Well, I don't know, because it seems like we're not doing brand crossover. So I think maybe you just do 4-on-4, because don't forget Dakota isn't cleared, I don't think. So I don't think you have to worry about that yet. So I think it's probably 4-on-4, and you pull in Michin's a good one. The Spooky Scottish Witches got mentioned earlier, and Luis is bringing them back up again. I think that could be also very fun if you wanted to go 5-on-5 for sure. For sure.
I love those women.
I know.
More than they'll ever know. They'll never know that I love them. That's the hard part.
They won't because they're just never on TV.
I'm going to go to the grave going, I wish that they knew that I love them.
How much I love them.
Yeah.
Guys, we are coming down the home stretch. Any more final super chats you want to get in? We're going home on this. If anybody watched CSJ and Mike Bailey or Takagi and Trent Beretta on New Japan Strong, let me know. Zach Kloss is better than Logan. Say, just checking in to say that people who don't like Charlotte or Bianca deserve jail time.
Jeez.
Or a walk of shame, Game of Thrones style. Tell me what I'm telling line. And Kate, you deserve a Bobby suit. Let's focus on the last part. But I agree that I don't love Charlotte as a face, but I can't dispute that in ring she's one of the best of all time. Bianca is one of the most complete packages, man or woman, that this company has. I think they're getting some like lukewarm reception because Bianca has been feuding with Damage Control for so long, and Bianca and Charlotte looked like they hated each other, and now they're on the same side of things. And this has just been stuck in the mud a little bit while I think Triple H is reassessing what to do with this women's picture, which is growing stronger and stronger over time.
Sure.
But Bobby Lashley should send me a suit is really the takeaway that I got from that chat. Your thoughts?
Wrestling is well right now. We got a lot of stuff happening. We want to know who the devil is. You know, the 5-on-5 with the men. Who's the mystery people are going to come in? You know, Randy Orton's name has been thrown around. All this great stuff. You know, is the Scottish, what's his name? Drew McIntyre. Is he going to be, you know, Puerto Rican too and join the Judgment Day? Like, God only knows what is happening right now.
Drew's an interesting one because he's got that contract up in 2024. FightfulSelect.com for more information on that.
I've said some things to you, Kate.
I know.
That I will not repeat here on the show, but I have sources. No.
Alex Select. Yeah, I mean there's a lot cooking right now, which is refreshing going into Survivor Series too. Like there should be.
And this is the good part about having a secondary promotion around too. You could have things cooking, and you could have the what ifs moments of who's gonna go where and who's gonna do what, and it's
also nice. Like just realistically, I prefer the way Triple H books things to Vince. Like everything feels very fresh,
1000%, yeah,
very quickly.
And that cannot be everybody's cup of tea either. You could see, I mean, people need to understand everything's not always rosy with professional wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? Both men and women. Like, yeah, you're on the Triple H, everything's great, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone there is going to agree and going to want to be part of a machine like they, who they are. They just might have creative differences, so like people need to understand it, because I read a lot of like crazy stuff all over the intro web.
Yeah, people think they know what's best for other people.
Oh my goodness. Weird. That is, you hit the nail on the head with that.
Taylor Cannon bringing up, honestly, I think Survivor Series would be a perfect time to debut Jade. I couldn't agree with that more. I was saying that from the beginning. Yeah. Like if the plan is to have her go to NXT, I think that's a really good call. But Survivor Series War Games is a really good match to acclimate someone to a new roster. Sean kind of spoke to this at the beginning of the show as well. And
you can protect her.
There's not as much of a focus on an in-ring because it's essentially a plunder match. And any of those nerves that you might have, you can kind of temper a little bit. And I think it could be a really good place to introduce her for sure.
I'm down with it.
Will saying we know Triple H is booking because he's trying to get Julia. If it was Vince, he'd be like, who's that, Paul? Yeah, I think if you guys haven't seen Julia, you're missing out. You're only depriving yourself. She's such an enthralling presence and a hell of a wrestler. Go check out her work. She's got a match with Trish Adora around the corner. I'm so excited about it. And Louise telling me that Stephanie Vacure, I think I'm saying her name right now, versus Mayu Iwatani, I'm saying that right, I hope, was a certified humper from Louise. So women's wrestling, lighten up on New Japan. Always wonderful to hear and see. I'm going to be doing a watch along of that on my YouTube channel tomorrow on delay. We're going to do it after Collision. That worked out really well last time. If people want to stop by and hang out with me on my @MissKateBabe YouTube channel, we're going to do that because I think that card is awesome and I want to see it. But I obviously had this to do tonight, and I've got some birthday celebrations tomorrow during the day. So we're going to do that tomorrow night. That's my own little shameless plug. You can follow me at @MissKateBabe on social media. But that is our show for tonight. Alex, plug your shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me on Twitter, _Alexis Cardoza. You can find me on Instagram and Threads at Alexis Cardoza. And you can find me on the YouTube, where I have a small little tiny baby show called Christmas Films Unwrapped. We just finished episode number 2 with Cher Delaware. You guys know her. She's all over the internet doing insane things that are out of control and out of people's minds. But yeah, she did an incredible job. We went over Home Alone. Episode 1 was with Alex Pulowski. We went over A Christmas Story. I'm working on getting my schedule situated because I had like 4,000 recordings. But Kate will be joining me, and we will be going over the Santa Claus there. And then moving forward, we're going to be doing Die Hard, because that is a Christmas movie. Definitely Elf, Muppet Christmas with hopefully Mr. Alex Pulowski.
I left that one open for Pulaski because I'm such a good friend. And even though Alex Pulaski doesn't believe in friendship, I was like, I can't take that one if you're having Alex back on.
My YouTube's very simple. You could either search for Alexis _Cardoza, I believe, because now you can like search for people with a little at on there, or Alexis Cardoza Films, like youtube.com, Alexis Cardoza Films, and you'll be able to subscribe there and check them out. So I've received some very good reviews and stuff like that. So I'm happy. I'm happy to have wonderful people being jolly with me. Ho ho ho.
Alex Pulowski.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. I wanted to come on here because you weren't watching Rampage, and the rundown from Luis was very lacking in a certain area.
Oh,
and boy. I needed to inform you, Kate, of an angle that is happening on Rampage that is right up your alley. Okay, so during the Ruby Soho and Red Velvet match, a PA in the middle of the match bought a green bouquet of flowers, green roses, and gave them to Ruby. I think he probably could have waited until after the match. But anyway, he did it and he gave them to her. She's like, I don't know who these are from. And the ref took them from her and set them down in the corner. And it didn't directly lead to a distraction finish, but it was basically a distraction finish with the roses. Anyway, obviously, they're from Ange. Oh my God. That will be the next step in their relationship. And so backstage, Ruby's there, and she's because they're interviewing Daniel Garcia and 2.0. And then Ruby and Saraya come in there, and Ruby and Ange are like making eyes at each other. And Ange is like, it was kind of from me. And Ruby's like, oh, and then Saraya's like, you get away from her, and she pulls her out of the shot, and Daddy Magic is like, you get out of here. We don't need you being distracted. And then Saraya and Daddy Magic are like, we have a problem. I know. And then so they're gonna have to like try and keep their best friends away from each other, but they're in love. Will love win out? We don't know. It's the greatest story on Rampage going.
I like that.
Well, if there's anything I love, it's on-screen romance angles and distraction finishes. So.
I got these.
Wow.
Christmas Crocs?
Yeah, Christmas
Elf Crocs.
Elf Crocs. Oh, I see now.
Oh
nice.
My
Very
goodness.
nice.
Well
Very
played.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad the Outcasts are breaking up further.
No.
Looks like it. Probably.
They're actually
Eventually.
getting back together because now she's trying to avoid them from getting together. So love is in the air, my friend.
Saraya will make Ruby choose between her and Ange. And of course, she's going to choose love.
That is the most Jeremy Lambert thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without
I
you.
say that with the utmost love for Jeremy.
Yeah.
How was your watch along? Was it good?
It was all right. Yeah. Yeah, we got to talk about how it's either Becky or Jade coming in for the fourth member of Good Girls versus Team Bad Girls, and that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
That's it. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that, because now you can go back and watch that particular part of the show, because I know your heart's all aflutter.
Oh, if there's anything I love, it's absurd distraction finishes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it so bad I'm gonna like it though? Is it one of those?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Is this going to be for the new AEW Backstage show? Whatever what was called. Remember what was it called?
Oh, what was it called?
Back Access.
AEW All Access.
There you go.
Right?
I don't know where I got Back Access from. That doesn't even
Back
sound
Access
right.
is a very different kind of show.
It is time to end this
That
review.
is on the Spice Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't look at my search history. Use NordVPN.
That's what's up. All right, guys. Well, I don't know how we're going to go home on a better note than Back Access. So we're going to end the show here, but have a safe and wonderful wrestling weekend. So much wrestling happening tonight and tomorrow. Collision. You can catch Alex Pulaski with the Collision review, which is not a watch along, which I thought it was for some reason. And then at the same time, unfortunately, because I'm an idiot, all of my New Japan watch along. So have both screens open, but stay tuned for Grapsody as well. So much wrestling happening. We're out of here. Have a wonderful weekend.
Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there.
Happy Veterans